black chick. Back on the air. Just thinking out loud. Back on the air. Just thinking out loud. Back on the air. Dirty black chick. Back on the air. Back on the air. Just thinking out loud. Back on the air. Back on the air. Let's go. We're back. Thank you for listening. You can check us out on jtolmedia.com and on Twitter at jtolmedia. Check us out on Facebook at Just Thinking Out Loud Media and the Nerdy Black Chick Talk Radio Show pages. You are listening to Just Thinking Out Loud. We on the air. You are listening to Just Thinking Out Loud, the podcast where the Nerdy Black Chicks talk about news, politics, entertainment, pop culture, current events, and of course, general ratchetness. I am Lavena at She Shown Up on Twitter, and of course, I'm here with my co-host and my fam, Bougette Rising.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show.
Welcome back. So basically, this is now a bi-weekly podcast.
Yeah, I mean we're with summer slacking, and now we're changing it into a bi-weekly podcast. And hey, I'm good with that.
Yeah, me too. I'll be honest with you. It just seems a little less hectic trying to record every week and then edit, because then it seemed like I would finally get around to editing and finish the damn editing just in time to record the next show.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then by the time you get it up, the news ain't news no more.
No, I know. We it's like stuff was happening so fast, and then we were like, okay. So bi-weekly, which to our podcast listeners and our podcast junkies out there, that's a good thing. That way you can keep up with us, and since we're moving slowly, you don't have to do a whole bunch of catching up with our podcast, and that opens up a slot to listen to some other great black podcasts that are out there. So that's okay. There's room for all of us on your playlist. Mm-hmm.
And if you want to follow Just Thinking Out Loud on Twitter, you can do so by clicking on at JTOL Media. And you can follow me at She Show Nuff. And Bougette's she's got an account.
You can find me also on Facebook at Bougette Rising on Facebook, and you can also find me on Instagram at Bougette Rising. If you follow me, I definitely follow you back, and I like all your stuff, and you can like all my stuff. See?
Well, what about your Twitter though?
I'm never on my Twitter.
I don't like that.
So if you follow me on the Twitters, you're not gonna see my tweets. You're not gonna see between my tweets. So.
You ain't got too many tweets on Twitter.
I used to, when I first got Twitter, I did get into it, but it was too complicated, and I don't like to read, so, that was it. I like pictures better. That's why I'm on Instagram all the time. I snap a pic, I put it up, and there you go.
You don't like to read, but you like to read.
Okay, I like to read books, not tweets. Does that make sense?
Okay. I get it. It's a lot.
It's a lot. 140 characters, and it's like 10 million people you don't know. It's confusing. I feel like I'm schizophrenic or something.
Well, but you know what happens? I wait until I get I wait until I hear the sirens that some stuff is going down on Black Twitter.
Oh, when Black Twitter is going on?
And then it's like, let me see what's going on Twitter. They're getting snatched.
See, I miss that stuff. So I have to wait for people to repost it on Facebook. So I would like to be more quick to grab onto my Kindle when Twitter's going off. But I don't have Twitter on my phone. I have it on my Kindle, so I don't get the alerts like that. See? I'm out of the loop. You gotta get a new loop. That's the fun stuff. Don't forget that you can chat it up with us on our water cooler. That's the Nerdy Black Chicks Talk radio show page on Facebook. And we got a voicemail number.
Yay!
Leave a message. We'll check it out. Questions, topic suggestions, I don't know, advice, whatever it is that you just want to think out loud, call the number 515-999-JTOL. And we've got a Tumblr at jtol.tumblr.com. Yeah. We got a Tumblr. We got a Twitter. We got a Tumblr. And I've been writing stuff. I got a couple little posts up, little commentary on stuff. So I had my little Rachel Dolezal rant on there, and most recently my rant on this Sandra Bland situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, you stay here, and we will be back because Strugglecast got some super things.
Damn.
All right, hold on.
Alright.
Harry, I gotta lock my door.
Is Harry busting all in there? He got something to say. Harry got something to say.
That one, Steve, the one on the right. Excuse me, miss. Could I talk to you a minute?
Yeah, I guess so. What about?
We're looking for real people to put in commercials.
Commercial drive.
No, really. Tell me, how do you like being a stewardess?
I like it. I like traveling around and meeting new people. Sometimes it gets to be a hassle, but mostly I like it. What kind of commercial?
Hair care products. Say, your hair. Yeah, it really looks great.
Thank you.
Tell me, what do you do to keep it looking so good?
Well, I use Ultra Sheen conditioner and hairdress. And I use Ultra Sheen Holding hairspray, too.
Any special reason?
It works. The conditioner and hairdress makes my hair more manageable, and the spray keeps it in place, even on long trips. What sort of product are you advertising?
Would you believe Ultra Sheen?
Oh, wow.
Ultra Sheen Conditioner and Hairdress and Ultra Sheen Holding Hairspray. Real beauty aids that really work for real people.
This stuff really works, huh?
You stopped me, didn't you?
Okay, and we're back. And a lot going on in the news, as usual. But I guess we'll start with the Sandra Bland story.
Yeah.
Hashtag say her name. Sandra Bland was a young black female activist who was actually about to embark on another chapter in her life, starting a new job in Texas after leaving Illinois. At some point, she got pulled over by Officer Brian Encina after a failure to signal when she switched lanes. And she says, and she explains the reason why she switched lanes is because the officer was speeding up behind her and tailing her. So she figured she'd go ahead and get out of his way so he can go wherever it was that he was clearly in a hurry to get to. But no sooner than she did that, he threw on his lights and pulled her over. From that point on, there was an exchange. Next thing you know, she's getting arrested for a charge that we're still not completely clear on. And 3 days later, after being held at the facility, the Waller County facility, she was, quote unquote, found dead in her cell of an apparent suicide by hanging.
Yeah, yet another victim of, I don't know what to call this, but the system and black people, black lives not mattering in law enforcement and justice. So here we are yet again, and this time the victim is a black woman, a 28-year-old woman who, Sandra Bland, was very active in the whole Black Lives Matter movement. She was an activist out of Chicago, and for this to happen to her I don't even know how to describe the feeling still. You know, this happened a little bit ago now, and we're still trying to get, she was buried on Sunday, I believe, Saturday or Sunday was her funeral, and it's still so many unanswered questions. It's still so much being talked about, and there's conspiracy theories, and to think all of this happened from a simple minor traffic stop.
So, of course, when you get to, and if you didn't watch the video or just kind of watch part of it or watched it while muted, of course you get to the conversation about what she could have done to prevent the entire situation, what it was that she did wrong, how she should have complied. And the fact of the matter is that this officer fucked up. In every sense of the word, he did everything wrong that you could possibly do in such a minor and trifling situation. He pulled her over, yes, okay, so it was a failure to signal. But the problem was that I think she just did it not thinking to go ahead and flick her signal because he was tailing her. He's speeding. He's riding behind her. You know, it'd be nice to have a nice little two car lengths in between you, but that didn't happen. Now, according to the video, he had just pulled a college sophomore over, had a little exchange, gave them their ticket, went on about their way, and you can actually see Miss Bland's car coming onto the road from the opposite side. So this officer actually made a U-turn to get to the side of the road where Sandra Bland was driving. And the video is actually consistent with her account of what happened with him speeding up and tailing her.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the car stop. I'm not sure what he saw to make him pull her over. I don't know if she switched lanes and did signal, she was getting out of his way, whatever it was. The car stop itself, it starts off kind of simple enough. Like, when I watched it, my whole thing was like, wow, that escalated fast. That was my thought, because he comes up to her. It's not a whole, get the fuck out of the car moment. It's how you doing, the spiel you give, driver's license and registration. And it starts off simple. Like, it could have ended so many different ways. It didn't have to end the way that it did. It gets testy in the middle. I think the bridge or the arc of the whole exchange, it comes at the cigarette. But even in the beginning, when he pulls her over, he asks for driver's license and registration and this, that, and he explains why he's pulling her over. In my opinion, looking at him, it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. I don't think he was treating her any differently or any worse than anybody else. I think that was a regular car stop. And whatever she's doing makes him ask a bitchy question. Is when he starts becoming the asshole that he is anything wrong? Is everything okay? That kind of questioning takes the conversation somewhere it didn't have to be, somewhere it shouldn't have been, and it becomes not a car stop, but a confrontation where this officer, Brian Anicha, another white Hispanic, I don't even know what the fuck that means. I didn't look up what he is, but they're saying he's a white Hispanic. I guess he has a parent that is Hispanic and white, whatever. But he goes from a regular car stop to a confrontation, from this is what you did, driver's license, registration, to is there a problem? Are you okay? And we had an inbox conversation about it. And to me, what I was saying, because at no point, and I want to make this clear from the beginning of this conversation, at no point do I think that Sandra Bland did anything wrong in her car stop. I don't think that there is anything she could have done to prevent what happened to her in this situation, because you could say me personally, I would have handled the car stop differently. That's just because that's just me. I don't want any confrontation. Does she have every right to say what she said, to do what she did? Yes, she absolutely does. It should not have led to an arrest on any levels. So I want to put that in just context. But that's where it happened. It was a regular car stop. He asked her what's wrong. And to me, that's one of the rhetorical questions, kind of like your mom asks you when you're a kid and you do something wrong, or they say you do something wrong, and they ask you, you got a problem? They don't look for you to say, yeah, Mom, I got a problem. Just like he wasn't looking for her to exert her right and explain what her problem was. He asked the question kind of in a way like, oh, is there something wrong? And then when he comes back again and asks her what's wrong, that's when she explains, which is her right. You pulled me over for no fucking reason, basically. And then we get to the whole cigarette tangle. And this is where it goes from a car stop to an assault and a false arrest.
So when he asked her if, are you good? Because you seem irritated. Like, it wasn't even that she seemed nervous. Because usually when an officer thinks, oh, you look nervous, maybe it's because you're hiding something. No, it was, you seem irritated, which is a normal feeling when somebody's getting pulled over, inconvenienced, and they feel like they're being wrongfully cited for whatever it is. Especially when she felt like she was being compliant by getting the hell up out of his way in the first place.
Right. I mean, nobody likes to get pulled over, and I don't think there's anyone in America who's not irritated or afraid or nervous when they get pulled over by the cops, even when you're not doing anything wrong. When I was a police officer and I got pulled over in other jurisdictions, I was nervous. I knew I was a cop, and maybe they would give me a break because I'm a cop. That's not always a guarantee, despite what people think. But I would still be nervous. Hell, I was even more nervous because I knew I had a gun. I'm like, oh, God, that's all I need is for one of them motherfuckers to see I have a gun and shoot my ass before I can explain, hey, I'm a cop. So nobody is happy to be pulled over. She's obviously irritated. It is her right to be irritated. She's doing nothing wrong by being irritated. And then when he becomes a jackass and asks her, well, what's the problem? Now you asked her to explain her irritation. And whereas a person like me, and you can call me what you want to call me, I'm non-confrontational in situations where I know I'm not going to win. I know I'm not going to win. In my mind, explaining to you what my attitude is about isn't going to do anything but further the argument, and I don't want to do that. I just want to leave. So at that point, I would have said nothing. But she has the right to say that, and her explaining or answering the question, like she says, because she says it. I can't believe this, but I guess when he was getting her out of the car, I can't believe it. You asked me what was wrong, because he asked her. And if you don't want, sometimes people say, if you don't want the answer to the question, don't ask it. He asked the question because he's feeling so full of power in this situation. And this is why people hate the police. And I'm a pro-police person. I don't believe every police officer is an asshole. I don't believe every officer is racist. I don't know what the fuck his problem is, but he's so full of power and control that, God forbid, this woman, this black woman, on top of anybody, tells him she has a problem with what he's doing. And God forbid she's smoking a cigarette. He asked her to put the cigarette out for his benefit. She has the right to say no. That's another question. I just, in my mind, looking back at everything he does, it's like, if you don't want the answer to the question, why ask it? You know you can't make her put out the cigarette. You know that. So why ask her to put out the cigarette? She's already fucking irritated. But again, he's in a position where he's going to win no matter what. And we all know how this ends. Like, even if she's right, which she is within her right not to put out the cigarette, he still wins because he did what he was going to do next. Oh, yeah? Let me get you out of the car. You're now under the arrest. And for what?
And mind you, he didn't deny that what she said was true. Right. Like, he wasn't like, ma'am, I really wasn't telling you. Or, ma'am, I wasn't speeding up behind you. And so I don't understand why you switched. He didn't do any of that. So clearly, she called him out for what he did wrong, and that irritated the shit out of him, on top of being talked back to or answered when she should have been cowering, I guess, scared. So, okay, so she's got her cigarette, and like you said, he requests that she puts it out, because like you said, he know he can't make her. He asks her to do it. She says, why I gotta put my cigarette out? I'm in my car. Okay, get out. Now, how the hell is that a response? What are you now asking her to get out the car for?
Because now you're under arrest. He took that right there was it. And hindsight is 20/20, and everyone in America is Monday morning quarterbacking that whole entire situation. But I remember I put on our page a couple days ago, like when this first happened. I remember watching her video and seeing that the arc of the whole confrontation was the cigarette, and thinking about Eric Garner right away. Like, why are we dying over fucking cigarettes? Like, this is the thing that you are so petty that you could kill me over a cigarette.
Michael Brown less. Too. Cigarellos.
Yeah, cigarellos. Nothing more, nothing less. Cigarettes. And it's like, this is the weight of a black person's life when confronting an angry, overly aggressive, racist, power-hungry officer, is a fucking cigarette. It's a shame. Like, if we all, it's kind of like if you could just yell in her car, just put the cigarette out. It's not worth it. I want to. And you know, I hate to say, because you say it all the time, like, don't be an apologist. And this is not me trying to be an apologist for why she died. Unlike some people, and we'll get to the bitches out here that have been making dumbass statements about it could be a weapon, it could not be. But anyway, you know, people, there's nothing, like I said, there's nothing she could have did to change the situation, because she was doing what was in her rights to do. What was in her rights to do is say, this is why you asked me a question, this is what I'm saying, this is what I'm thinking, and now this is what happened. He asked the questions, he got the answers, he didn't like the answers, and he went from 0 to 100. Now you answered my questions, you're going to jail. And there's nothing she could have done to change that, which is so frustrating for everybody, for us looking, for her family who has the barrier, for black people out there, for me, for you. I looked at this Sandra Bland incident for me is like a every woman thing. Every black woman thing. Kind of like Trayvon Martin could have been anyone's son. Sandra Bland could have been any black woman. Any black woman in America could have said, you know what, you pulled me over for no reason, I'm not putting out my cigarette, and now you're dead 3 days later. Like, that could happen to anyone. There was nothing that she did. She wasn't smoking weed in the car. She wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, you know, some shit that would obviously lead to an arrest. She wasn't shooting up in the car. She didn't spit in the officer's face. She didn't touch him. She's sitting in her car. You can have as many attitudes in the world that you want in your car. I remember when I was a police officer, I pulled over people. And trust me, women of all nationalities are the worst things in the world to pull over. And I'll just say that, and I hope. Don't get mad at me, people, but this is true. When you pull over a female for anything, a traffic, a stop sign, a seatbelt, you can be ready to have the worst fucking attitudes in the world. I have been called all kinds of names. I have been told how much they make more than my whole life. Their car is worth more than my whole entire family. I've been told some pretty nasty shit by females I've pulled over. And throughout all these exchanges, never once have I had the right to arrest them for getting on my nerves. Because you just don't have the right to do that as an officer. And, you know, to me, whatever this ends up being, what the cause of her death is, he is, and I've said this over and over, he's responsible for her death. There should have been no reason whatsoever that she should have been in custody. It's a false arrest, false imprisonment. It's like a kidnapping charge when you arrest someone and you're lying about the reason. That's what happened, and she died during the kidnapping. To me, it's like, I mean, I'm so upset about the situation because it's so simple. It could have been avoided, and for all of this is for what? Because this douchebag got an attitude.
As the officer, the trained officer, the person of authority, he should have been one to make sure that the situation didn't escalate. But he was the one that was escalating it. It's like he didn't have to. He wouldn't have had to be in a position to have to de-escalate if he wasn't the one that was setting everything off. Yeah, he was the one setting it off. By what he should have done was write the damn ticket or the warning, let her know she was getting a warning, give it to her, and that's it. So that kind of brings me to when someone tried it and wanted to cite a Supreme Court ruling that gives an officer the right to have someone come out of their car for their safety. And the reason why I said that that's bullshit and you're not going to use that case in this situation, because not at any point can we see where this officer was in fear for his safety. Had he been concerned about his safety and making sure that everybody walked away okay, he'd have gave her damn ticket and let her about her business.
No, he would have. If he was concerned about his safety, he would have called for backup. If you're scared and you're afraid and you think someone is in the car and has a weapon, which is it can happen. You go and you get backup because you don't know what's going to happen. You're obviously not afraid if you're willing to yank the girl out the fucking car. You're not obviously not scared if you're willing to open the door and engage that person. This is why the same thing I said with the Mike Brown thing. Why I did not believe the whole story of Mike Brown and he was just being under attack. And no, you engaged this kid because you wanted to. There's no officer who's jumping in cars or out of cars that doesn't want to do this. You know what I mean? If you're in the front seat of an officer's car because he wants you, that he's pulling you, it's something he's doing wrong. It's against training to get you in his car. Because that's a barrier for everybody's safety. If they're in the car, you're safe. You're out of the car. You can back up. You can do whatever you want because you're not in that car. Once you open the door, which you did to Sandra Bland, once you get in there and try to drag her out of the car, because she refused to get out. She said no. So you go ahead. You're not scared if you go ahead and engage her. That's bullshit. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Somebody said that was the Supreme Court law. Oh, my God.
Yeah. that, and I saw that an officer can ask you to come out your car. But I mean, like at the beginning of the investigation, if you want to make sure that this person is not inside the car and being able to reach to it for anything, if that's how you're going to approach it from the beginning and make it to use that as your reason to ask somebody to leave because you want to conduct a thorough and safe traffic investigation, whether, fine. I mean, it's ridiculous in a lot of cases if you do it, and
there's reason to do it, but no, there's reason. This wasn't it. This wasn't it. Not at all. Especially since he asked her to leave after he pretty much was done with the entire transaction, and it was over. I don't know what's going on now with him. I think I don't know if he's on administrative while they're investigating, but he's fucked himself in so many ways in this tape. And, what can we believe out of the tape? The tape has been edited. It was pointed out. Everybody in the world found out that they released an edited version of the traffic stop, so we don't know what else has been edited. But he says from the jump, I was giving you a warning, even once she's out of the car. So now you can't even go back and lie and be like, I was going to arrest you. Because if you're going to arrest someone for a traffic stop, you can. If you fail to sign a ticket, if I don't believe you are who you are, you don't want to sign a ticket, something else goes wrong, I can lock you up for not putting your seatbelt on. I can do that. Once you start being aggressive, you're not telling me who you are, I don't know who you are, whatever, I'm going to now arrest you. I'm not going to wait for you to sign a ticket. I'm going to, in lieu of you signing this ticket that's going to make sure you pay your fine, I'm just going to take you to jail. So you're forced to appear before a judge. But you said already you weren't going to go that route. You said already, I was going to give you a warning. That's what I was going to do. I was going to give you, so you were never going to put her under arrest. The only thing that made you take this step was for her not putting out the cigarette. That was it. Mm-hmm.
So she's asking him, why do I have to get out of my car? And then he says, get out the car. And then she asks him if she was under arrest. And he said, I think at that point in the car, he said she was.
Yeah, because she was struggling against him. It wasn't until she refused to get out of the car. It wasn't until all of that happened. Because when he says get out of the car, she says no. Then he actually tries to get her out of the car, and she goes, "You're going to actually yank me out of the car?" That's when the struggle ensues, which is so fucking ridiculous. Like, you really, if you're wife, I just can't believe you would actually struggle with a woman to pull her out of the car over a fucking warning that in your mind you're giving her a warning just because she disobeyed you. Because she said, I'm not putting my cigarette out. And now I'm not getting out of the car, which she has the right to do. And now you're so hung up on your power. And for the fact that there was no dash cam, we wouldn't have even known that. Because obviously he lied to his superiors about what happened. He was talking about how she assaulted him, because that's what he charged her with. Assaulting him and whatever with the traffic. But all this shit was a lie, and even with the edited footage, you could see it was a lie. But had there been no camera, he could have said all kinds of shit.
That's true.
And he was prepared to say all types of shit, because he said, she assaulted me, this, that, all of this stuff is a lie. And that's why I'm like, for me, whatever the outcome of the investigation is, he killed this woman. You falsely arrested her. To me, is like, you take, because, whatever, you think about the Freddie Gray situation. There are plenty of officers in Baltimore City who have gone to jail for different things all the time. That's why you guys going all ham over BPD. It happens all the time in Baltimore. You get arrested, you get caught up in some bullshit, you go to jail. There was a case before that I'm not going to get into where a child was taken somewhere else and he was put in cuffs and released somewhere else. Anyway, they want to charge the officer with kidnapping for putting the person in cuffs for no fucking reason and taking them somewhere else. She was taken to jail, but you took this person to jail under false pretenses. This is a lie. Like, you said she assaulted you. She didn't. She did nothing wrong. You were going to give her a warning, which means you were going to let her go. You weren't even going to arrest her, so there's no need to arrest her other than your pride got hurt because she told you the truth, and you didn't want to hear that.
So now he's scrambling to figure out exactly what he arrested her for, because I think at some point he realized that he really didn't have a real chargeable offense.
Right.
He didn't have one. So he's, he gets her out of the car. She's asking him why she's being arrested. She asked him a number of times why she was being arrested, and he never gave her an answer.
I mean, at that point, the whole exchange is hostile. She's calling him all kinds of punk ass cops, which he is. You know, he's not giving her a reason to be arrested. She gets slammed to the ground at some point. You know,
she says that she has epilepsy, and the backup officer who arrived on the scene I think he was the one that said good in response to her saying that she got her head slammed and she's got epilepsy.
I think he was the one who said it. Yeah, he's like a complete, because I think I saw that on CNN. Like his.
And who's this backup officer we're not talking about? What's his name?
I thought it was a girl. I thought it was a black female.
Was it a black woman? Everybody involved, their names need to be up there too. Because that shit pisses me off.
Well, once he's placed her under arrest and the backup shows up, the backup is going to do what the backup is going to do. The same thing in Eric Garner's case. Once you're saying you're going to arrest them, when those officers in uniform come rushing in, they don't give a fuck what the story is. They're here to support the officer. They're not going to stop and say, hey, ma'am, is this a false, were you locked up for... No, they're going to tackle your ass to the ground because obviously he needs backup because you're out of control, and that's it. That's kind of what the backup officer's role is to do, back you up. So, for me, they weren't there from the beginning. They didn't see the whole exchange. But once you see the tape of what happens, it kind of puts everyone in a bad fucking light. It puts the whole sheriff's department in a bad light because, you posted an article about the sheriff saying that there's no racism in his town, but he was fired from his last job for racist shit. Like, I'm jumping ahead here, but that's why Anonymous came out with the threat that they're going to release a bunch of videos. And, I think a lot of shit is going to come down out of this. But to me, either when stuff comes out of it or not, the point remains this woman is dead. She's arrested. Okay, so she went back to the arrest. There was a standard by filming what he filmed. Thank God that he's filming also. So this is a shady arrest from the beginning. She's brought to the jail, and she's taken to this facility in Texas and held for 3 days. Her bond is set at $5,000. And for some reason she cannot make bond, and 3 days later she's dead. And then the reports from the jail is that she committed suicide, which her family adamantly denies because this is something out of her character. There would be no reason in the world that Sandra would do this, according to her family.
And from the videos I've seen of her and different things that she said and things that she said about life and her and the way that she fought for her rights on the side of the road, I was like, she fought like hell for her cigarette, her right to have her cigarette. I don't see her being somebody that's just gonna give up her life like that. Yeah. But I don't know what was. It's anything is possible. I saw an article that said, don't say that it's impossible that Sandra Bland committed suicide because it strips her of her humanity to take that away from her. To say that she cannot feel human emotions like despair and depression and loss and being overwhelmed, to take that away from her just kind of buys into that whole strong black woman trope where we like these magical women who can fight off anything. And so now, to take suicide off the table kind of robs her of her humanity. And I'm not saying that suicide is something that she couldn't have been capable of. I'm just saying that for me, I don't believe that it was something that she was ready to do, like now. The way she was like, we go to court. I'm ready to fight this.
Yeah, it to me, I'm obviously, when you listen to the Nerdy Black Chicks, you're going to get all sides of the coin, different opinions from both of us. And, when I watched the video of the arrest, I said, no way in hell. Me watching some of her other videos left me with the impression that she's a very emotional person. Very emotional, very strong, but very emotional person. And I think it's, for me, not outside the realm of possibility. In my opinion, it's like a 60-40 thing. Like 60% I believe she would never do it, but there's a 40% of me is like, maybe she could. Because Sunday, the day of Saturday was her funeral, I believe. But Sunday, I woke up thinking about 3 days in a jail cell, how I would feel. And not to say that, Because I don't like when it first happened, I hate when anyone accuses a person who's dead of a suicide attempt or suicide, because that to me is the easy scapegoat. It's like, oh, well, she was overwhelmed, she killed herself. Because if people who know the woman says there's no way, and her mother, her family are swearing by God that she would never do it, then I tend to believe them saying that she would never do that. And the way that she was taken into custody, the way she was argumentative or assertive, I guess is a better word, with the officer. She didn't mind telling him he was a punk ass. You know what I mean? So I felt like in jail for those 3 days, I'm pretty sure she probably had no problem telling somebody else they were a punk ass, and maybe one of them got out of hand and did something to her. I can't put that out of the possibility, and I believe most likely that's what happened, in my opinion. Could she have killed herself? I also believe that's a possibility too, because she's a Black Lives activist, been out there vocal, protesting, doing all this stuff. Here she is riding through Texas, just got a job down here. She's arrested on false charges. You know what I mean? Day one going into jail with a low bond, she's thinking, I can get out of here. But then 2 days roll by and you start to wonder, what the fuck? I'm in a jail cell in Texas. I'm not out. I'm locked up for no reason. What is this? You know what I mean? Now day 3 has come. There is a possibility she could have felt at her lowest and she could have took her own life. But for me, when I say that there's a possibility she could have taken her own life, to me, I still blame the officer for her death. I still blame the system for her death. She should not have been in jail. She should not have been incarcerated. She should not have been kept for 3 days. If they knew the bond was $5,000 in Baltimore, they wait 24 hours and then they even reduce the bond. She should have been out on her own recon. Even if nobody in her family, which I find really incredible that nobody bailed her out. That's another issue I struggle with. But if you're there for such a petty-ass charge, I'm surprised they didn't even let her out on her own recon. So she's in the system in a fucking pissy-ass jail cell in Texas, hot-ass Texas. There is a possibility that she could have just had all she could take and killed herself, took her own life. But that doesn't mean that, that I blame her for her death. This is the officer's fault. This is his fault, and to me, his fault alone. Whether it was her hand that did it or someone else's.
So when we look at the situation and we see the cell, and the first thing I looked at, remember I asked you, I said, why the hell is this big 30-gallon trash can in a cell? Who needs a trash can that big when they're being held? What are you throwing away? So she's got this big trash can in there that's got this big liner that was supposedly used to hang herself with. Now, mind you, according to some documents that has some inconsistencies in it, surprise, surprise, she supposedly admitted to a suicide attempt in 2014. Oh, no, wait, that was 2015. Oh, well, it was one of those, right? Who knows? Because, numbers, not important. But that inconsistency, but either way, if you knew that this person had a history, supposedly, and you put them in a cell with something that they could very well use to end their life, but then again, they said, well, we asked her if she wanted to kill herself, and she said no. So, what's the point of asking if that information isn't going to be used, if she seems to be inconsolable, as another inmate in an adjacent cell said, that she was crying constantly, she was really upset, she was inconsolable, then why is she still in this cell with these materials that she could use if she seems that incredibly upset and depressed?
Yeah.
And she has a history.
It's just so many unanswered questions. I have no idea. The more I think about it and I want to think about it, I'm like, what could have happened? So much shit going through my mind, like how, what, where, who wasn't doing their job. Obviously somebody's not doing their job. If somebody can, if they did kill themselves or not, no one's, the footage didn't look like it was a huge jail. You know what I mean? Like it didn't look like it was so many inmates in there that you couldn't be walking past someone every 30 to 20, apparently she was in there for 90 minutes where no one checked her. And I'm like, I find that kind of hard to believe too. Like, you're in there for an hour and a half and no one's walked past your cell, nothing. Like, do you have like a curtain around your cell? Like, they look like the old-fashioned bars. Like, you can see through. So even if, you know what I mean, like if someone's hanging themselves, you could maybe spot that from your chair, even if you're not walking up and down the fucking aisles. I mean, it looks like you could see through the cell. But then again, I'm so confused by this. I'm so perplexed by it. I'm frustrated by it. I'm exhausted by it. It's so exhausting to be talking about yet another black person dead at the hands of police in shaky circumstances. No one really knows who knows what happens, and here we are yet a fucking again. Before we talk more about the suicide, when you have on our Nerdy Black page, the Black Chicks page, and if you follow us on Facebook, you know we have conversations with people. And one of our favorite listeners actually talked to us this morning, or brought up a really good point. Kevin Woods brought up a really good point about the arrest itself of Sandra Bland. Shout out to Kevin Woods and your awesome opinions that we always take into consideration.
Yes.
And it was
thanks for listening and always interacting with us.
Thank you. Because like I said, if you guys interact with us, it makes us think. And he brought up a point that is, to me, just on the system, like without getting into the details, the fact that this officer could be so violent towards her so quickly and over such a petty thing, like he's ready to snatch her, like she was saying, like you would hear her say, "You gonna yank me out my own car because of my cigarette?" Like he was so willing to engage her physically, and she's, I don't know, on the side of the curb walking away, pulling her arms down. He couldn't wait to throw her ass to the ground. Could not wait. And Kevin Woods brought up the point of having these men in uniform, not just cops, but just men in positions of power. He brought up Cosby, but just men in positions of power, just like being vicious towards or violent towards women. And I just thought about it because I was like, in my upcoming book that will be out soon, guys, I speak about my experience and the fact that it's not uncommon for a lot of cops to have domestic violence issues in their personal lives. So it's not a surprise to see this officer yank this woman out of the car for a fucking cigarette and his temper is so short with her. Like you said, it's something to be said about, yes, officers are human beings, and no, we're not paid to stand there and take abuse from any fucking body. If these people are under the impression that officers are supposed to be standing there like, oh, call me whatever the fuck you want, I feel nothing, that's not realistic. But you're supposed to, at the same time, like you said earlier, not be the person amping the shit up. Like, he's coming in, like I said, talking like somebody's mama, oh, you got a problem? Why are you doing that? Like, what makes you want to ask her smart-ass questions that have nothing to do with the traffic stop, just so you can get her? You obviously saw she was irritated. That's why you asked her. So you know she's irritated, so now you're going to pump her up some more. So now it was just cat and mouse game, where you're going to be the ultimate victor because you're a bigger man, you're a man with a gun on your hip and a badge, you're going to be able to pull her out, throw her to the ground. And why? And a lot of people don't realize, a lot of topics don't get brought up in policing that people don't talk about, is the fact that domestic violence is common with police officers. There were a lot of, when I joined the police academy, I had instructors and sergeants and lieutenants who were suspended for domestic violence. It was a very average, typical thing to have your supervisor, oh, he's suspended for beating his wife. Did he do it? Who knows? He probably didn't. He wouldn't dare. And I'm not talking just white guys. I'm talking black men, all kinds of men. It's just, that was the culture of policing. It's a boys' club. Male aggression is part of the job. And that's something that has to be dealt with these men, because it's to me it's so childish and pathetic. And one of the reasons why I always used to say I wish police work was all women. I know that's unrealistic as hell, but I just wish all cops could be women because we're just much better at it. Because a lot of the times you see these males who get on these power kicks that are not used to being told no, that people have to listen to you because you're a cop, and you don't get no at home, you don't get no on the street, and you're on this awesome power kick and no one ever tells you no. So here's Brian and Nietzsche, this asshole with a Napoleon complex or whatever his problem was. This woman had the nerve to smart mouth him, and now she's got to go to jail for it.
I'm reading something right now that says it was posted July 26th, 3 days ago, that protesters actually stood outside his complex.
Yeah, I saw that on this group I'm in. A group of black males, activists, stood outside his house, angry black protesters, and I said, good, that's what we need more of. These people cannot live in anonymity. I cannot pronounce shit today or any other day, but You know, the thing with the officer who killed Eric Garner, when we're just in general talking about, oh, fuck the police, this particular officer flies under the radar and gets to get away with murder pretty much, and he's just in the cover of blue, so no one takes it to his door. So maybe he feels something, maybe he don't. Good, let's give their addresses out, go to their houses. Let's make them feel the personal repercussions of killing someone. We're mad at you as a fucking individual, you know, not just you're a blue, so we hate all blue. We really hate your fucking ass. So I'm glad they went to his house. I hope that continues.
And he is currently on death duty, so he's still working. Even though didn't his superior say that he was wrong as shit?
Yeah.
Why is he even on death duty if you're going to say that he did everything wrong anyway? Isn't that huh?
Well, because like any job, like
union thing.
Well, it's not just a union thing. Most jobs, like you just because you're wrong, a lot of times they take a lot of shit into consideration. For instance, has he ever had any troubles before? You know, the severity of what he did wrong. I don't know what they're looking at. For me, I'm going all the way ape shit on it because I take this very personal. And I'm not the investigating person. I'm not with any police force anymore, so I'm not sure what they're going to say he did. To me, he lied, period, about the arrest. That's clear. That's clear to me. So lying about an arrest, where does that take you on the level of getting fired? I'm not sure. I'm sure that they have to go through all the litigation first. Is he wrong of what? Now he gets to get an attorney and present his case, and then they determine if you're getting fired or not. So there's a procedure they have to go through. Unless he's arrested for something. Like, for instance, if he's charged with a felony, like if they see on the video he's doing a crime and they charge him with a crime, he can get arrested. He can get fired like that. But if that's not what they're doing, this is just internal shit. So it's going to take some time.
Yeah, because they already said that he violated the traffic stop policy and whatever courtesy policy or courtesy codes they got. And he would get fired for a lot less.
Well, courtesy is like the lowest. I mean, you can get fired for courtesy, but that's not like something that most cops get fired for. He lied about the arrest, and that to me is he lied. Like, to me, if you're as a police officer, you're caught lying, you can't testify, you can't do anything else. You know, your word is kind of pretty much supposed to be your bond. If you're caught lying, that's supposed to be something that I think you would get terminated for, but we'll see. I hope so. I don't think that he should be. I don't see how he can police. I think that I'm glad that they know his address, they know who he is. I'm sure people were coming forward before. I think I read something the other day that he's had previous complaints, and that weighs into the decision making of whether to fire or not to fire. This is a motherfucker who's been a problem officer. Now you catch him on tape lying, fire his ass. If he can't be locked up, which I feel like he should, because I really, really personally hold him responsible for her death. If he can't be locked up, he doesn't deserve to have a job. I don't care what the process takes, but he just should not have a job. And he shouldn't be hired at anybody else's department. I mean, somebody like this should be blacklisted from any fucking department, any fucking where.
So that we don't have another Tamir Rice situation where you have an officer should have been hired in the first place.
Yeah, which happens all the time.
So, the investigation is ongoing. Now, from what I understand, it's not a murder investigation. However, they're supposedly carrying it out as if it were a murder investigation. The family has an independent autopsy that we haven't heard the results from yet. The original autopsy apparently reports that everything is, her whatever injuries she does have is consistent with suicide, blah, blah, blah. But the family said they ain't seen nothing, except for they're learning everything through the media.
I think I've read something about
that's shady.
They said something about her having levels of marijuana in her system that they put this
smoking it.
And her family lawyer, I think I've just read this today, said something about the fact that it's impossible for her to have had that high amount in her system if she was incarcerated for 3 days. So That's, you know, to me, that's, you know, these are red flags things. Like, okay, so now she's got all this weed in her system, which they think led to her probably being in a crazy mental state. I don't know about you, but any person who I've ever been around who smoked weed has been very calm and chill, and if anything, more relaxed than any fucking body, you know. So I don't see weed ever making you suicidal. But they're saying that she had such a high amount. But now they're like, okay, so you put this out there, and her family's attorneys are saying, well, how does she get such a high level in her system if according to you, she's been in the cell for 3 days? So
what is it? Like weed and melanin have some sort of strange contraindication. Like whenever
right.
Weed and black people get together, all of a sudden they become these crazy hawks.
Yeah.
Everybody else is
chill.
Get the hell out of here.
Right. You know, like I said, I don't know what she did, and if she killed herself, God, rest in power, sister. If she did that to me, I'll always forever think this is the fault of the officer. He might as well have killed her with his own hands. But it's just so much shit that you cannot even believe because the situation is so far-fetched. The situation is just so unbelievable. Like, in this day and age, you have a woman who's incarcerated for 3 days over a traffic stop that's so minor. She can't post bail. All these things just don't make any fucking sense. It's like the perfect storm of nothing is making any sense here. And it's like, where do we go from here? At this point, where do we go? Like, there's nowhere to go. I just feel like, it's just the most frustrating situation.
So I'm sure we'll be visiting this subject again soon as, I don't know, more details unfold. Like, you know, I hope that the family gets the answers that they seek from their independent autopsy. Now, word was that the, like, Waller County or the prosecutor, whatever, he wanted a second autopsy done because they said the other one was defective. Now, I also heard that Waller County said, well, no, that didn't happen. I don't know. But it's reeking of just cover-up. This entire thing is reeking of cover-up. I really hate to continue. It's just so sad. It is so incredibly sad. But I want to make sure that we don't forget Private Lavena Johnson. Now, right now we have the hashtag of say her name, which is to recognize black women who have died at the hands of police officers in cases of police brutality. Now, this same thing is going on in our armed forces, where women are being brutalized and sexually assaulted at high rates without any recourse. Mm-hmm. And it's something that we can't just forget that's happening.
And you know, the funny thing is, there's the suicide, the convenient suicide is a label that we give black women who die in custody, or you know, she killed herself. So
yeah, because it's a simple out. So yesterday, July 27th, would have been the 30th birthday of Lavena Lynn Johnson. She was a private first class, and she died July 19th, 2005 in Iraq. Yep. Now, the reported cause of death was suicide by a gunshot to her head, but this didn't sound right to her family, so they had their own independent investigation done, and they learned from that investigation that their young daughter had been beaten, raped, shot, and that the tent she was in had been set on fire while her body was in it.
Yeah, there was also acid found on her private areas.
So, right now, this is the last thing I saw. I think they posted that they were able to get some word back from a senator or something. The fact is that her murder has still not been solved. Whoever did this to her is still walking free, and it's on the back burner.
Yep.
When it should be on the forefront right now.
Her death is legally, by the U.S. government, officially called a suicide. It's officially ruled a suicide despite all these facts that have come out about the condition that her body was in, that her tent was set on fire. I don't know how many people that kill themselves and then are capable of burning down the tent they're in, and this makes sense to anybody. When I found out about this a couple years ago, I think we posted this on our Nerdy Black Chicks page a while back, because there's a documentary out about what happened in her family's crusade to try to get justice, and it seems like they're hitting brick wall after brick wall. There's nothing that they can do. It was I think it was a documentary called The Silent Truth, titled Lavena Johnson, The Silent Truth. She's not the only woman that died during this last war that we were in Iraq and Afghanistan, that died under suspicious circumstances, and it was labeled a suicide. But it just hits home for black women. It just seems like we're so vulnerable to rape or murder or anything, violence towards black bodies. And, thinking of Lavena Johnson and Sandra Bland, I even think of Renisha McBride, who was in a car accident after drinking, disoriented, woozy, wandering around, and she gets shot and killed by some asshole because she's a black body. She's a black female wandering around at night. There's no safety for black women. And, like you said, the Say Her Name campaign is going on, where we want to talk about the black women who are dying at the hands of law enforcement and no one's saying their name. But you can't forget about Lavena, because this story is heartbreaking. This young girl was days away from turning 20. You know what I mean? And her parents had to get heartbreaking news just before her birthday that she's dead. And to hear the matter of what she supposedly died, and then to see her body and the condition it was found, it's horrific. It's horrific. And to me, this has happened to other service members, but I just think that if any white woman had been found, with acid burns to her private area, and sexually assaulted and shot in the head and her tent burnt down, people would know her name. I don't think people ever talk about Lavena Johnson, so we have to talk about her. Just like we have to talk about the Sandra Bland and find out what happened in her case. We have to keep talking about this because it's continuing to happen, and we have to get some ways that there's some answers, people are held accountable, and this stops happening to our girls.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break. And I'm going to play a little bit of, I guess it's a clip from The Silent Truth. And it's her mother, her father, and I don't know if it's a lawyer or a women's rights activist. I'm not sure who the other person is, discussing this case and and how it's impacted them, and the information that they received, and how the armed forces just dropped the ball completely on this. So it's time to make sure that they pick it up, and if that means that, we got to start contacting people if there needs to be. Look, here's the time. I mean, this hashtag revolution, it's time to do it. Let's do this for Lavena. Justice for Lavena. Hashtag she has a name. Hashtag say her name. So listen to this. It's about a 5-minute clip, and we'll be back on the other side.
At 7:30 in the morning, our doorbell rang. Linda looked out the window and she said, "John, there's a soldier on the porch." And I knew then it was bad news.
And he said, "Are you Linda Johnson, mother of Private Lavena Lynn Johnson?" And I said, "Yes, I am. What do you want?" And he said, "We regretfully inform you that your daughter, Private Lavena Lynn Johnson, is dead." And I lost it.
He said, "I got the impression that they said Lavena committed suicide." I said, "Wait a minute. Shot in the head, committed suicide." He said, "Right." I said, "Lavena carried around an M16 rifle. How did she shoot herself in the head with it?"
Absolutely not. No way. My daughter did not do this to herself. so the battle began.
That's one of the tragic parts of this whole thing, that the military itself just assumes that the families are going to be compliant, that they aren't going to cause a ruckus, that they will just sit back and accept everything the military says to them in the military's own time. It's a horrible situation, and when families try to buck the system, they are met with the full force of the military saying, we can't give you anything unless you file the Freedom of Information Act, and if you don't name exactly what the document is, they won't give it to you.
When I had to go to the airport to get her body, I said, oh my God, I can't hardly take this. The last time I'm here, she's running with open arms. Hey, Mom! And this time she's in a box with a flag draped. That was so horrible.
The next thing that actually happened was me receiving paperwork. And then I saw one of her face, and that just, I don't know what happened to me then. I closed it up. I went up in the bathroom, and I sit there, and I bet you I cried. I couldn't control myself. It took me a good hour, I think, to finally settle down. My heart was beating so hard. He said, they murdered Lavena, man. He said, and we can prove it using this paperwork. They have a torrid reputation when it comes to abuse of women in the military, and it needs to be dealt with. And they're not going to do that as long as they're covering up for people who did this to Lavena and Tina Priest and Deborah Boydniak and Gloria Davis, and the list goes on and on and on.
It's such an emotional burden on the family that if they decide they want to pursue this, it's going to take every bit of energy and commitment that they can muster. And if they're not fully committed to it, it will drive them crazy. It will tear the family apart.
It was an April morning when workers exhumed Johnson's casket at Jefferson Barracks to continue the search for answers. Answers different from the ones Johnson's family has been getting from the military. And the message is now reaching to Congress, with support coming from the House and Senate.
We've got to find the truth about what happened to this young lady. Her family deserves that at a minimum, and we need to know in terms of keeping the armed services accountable.
And by the time everything was set up, her 20th birthday came, July 27th, and I was sitting in a cold funeral home looking at my baby's body and should be celebrating life. And I had to say goodbye to my baby, just a baby. She turned 20. And she didn't even get a chance to live.
My daughter was beaten, raped, murdered, set on fire, then tried to burn a tent down with her body in it. And your evidence says that. So it'd be a cold day in hell before I stop. And I mean that with all my heart. So how they gonna handle their end, that's gonna be up to them, because I ain't stopping. And anybody that's gonna help us get justice, I'm gonna be right there telling this story.
Okay, and we're back, and thought about kind of like, it's been an hour-long show, but really hate to leave. We never like to leave a show on like a low note if we can help it. These things are important, but damn it, like for a little bit of self-care, we got to focus on like some mind-numbing whatever shit sometimes too. And so as you know, my co-host Bougetto loves to go on her womanist rants. and recently, an Israeli journalist by the name of Becky Griffin took to Twitter because she took issue with black women criticizing white feminism. Black women, y'all hurt her feelings. And she wants to make sure that you are well aware that her feelings are hurt. So she goes on Twitter and let me find these tweets. It was a whole lot of stupid wrapped up and dumb. But basically, what she was trying to say is that hold up. Okay, so she starts off with what happened with the original feminist movement. And that, hey, there was some discrimination as was part of original feminism discriminatory? Yes. Did it bring women's rights to the forefront? Yes. Did criticism lead to change? Yes. Then she goes on to say, in order to have second, third, and fourth wave, the necessary adjustments, you have to have a first wave and founders. To everyone replying to this, feminism is about all women. When you put race in that, you are doing injustice to women. Period. Black women, don't worry about being black, okay? That is just wrong. When she didn't say that, I just injected it. And then she says, when black women attack, here we go with black women attacking white feminism, they are forgetting who made it possible for them to have rights as women, and they are racist.
And when she tweeted that, I think we all had a collective, oh no you didn't bitch moment. When, oh no you didn't bitch. Oh no you didn't.
Woo! Needless to say, she got her wig snatched. I know they were like, no, she wasn't ready. No.
You know what? This is what pisses me off, because this is very similar to whatever that white chick's name was at the Grammys or the awards. It said, and when y'all black folks gonna come and thank white women for your rights, because white feminists been riding for y'all. It's time for y'all to finally do something for us.
Patricia Arquette.
Yes, it sounds so similar. That these bitches get off on this whole y'all owe us. So if y'all want it, y'all rights is because of us,
ma'am.
Bitch. And I have to say, this is yet more reasons why I don't call myself a feminist, because underneath all this lolly-dolly, we all get along shit, is a white Millie out there waiting to pull this, well, y'all wouldn't have it if we didn't give it to y'all, white supremacists, I'm better than you, shit out of her back pocket, and I can't have it.
So, for anyone who doesn't understand the Miss Millie reference, in The Color Purple, there's a character, white lady, Miss Millie. And she's like, what, the mayor's wife or the governor's wife?
She's like
whoever
the
the hell
wife.
she was. She was at the general store, and she saw Miss Sophia, played by Oprah Winfrey, in the store, and she decided she wanted her to come work for her.
She said, your kids are so clean. I would love for you. Your kids are so clean. I would love for you to come work for me and clean my kitchen.
To which Miss Sophia said, "Hells no."
Yes,
you say to me? I said, "Hells no." Well, next thing you know, she's getting pistol whipped. And she's, I don't know how many, I can't even remember how many times I've seen the movie, I should know. She spent years in jail. And when Sophia was released from jail, where did she end up? Working for Miss Millie.
And Miss Millie kitchen any damn way.
Yes, she ended up working for Miss Millie. So it's Christmas time, and she's like, you know what, Sophia, I'm gonna take you to see your family. And she's like, but you you gonna drive? Like, I'm always driving. How you really? You ain't lying. I'm gonna take you to see your family. So they get in the car and they go out there to the little cabin in the woods, and Miss Sophia gets to see her children for the first time in years. The poor babies don't even know who their mama is. She don't even get her coat off before she looks out the window and she sees Miss Millie in the car, backing up, driving forward. Why? Because she can't drive. The men are out there trying to help her. She's sitting there yelling, I've always been good to you people. And that's where the whole Miss Millie,
yes,
always, despite all the bullshit I put you through, in spite of taking advantage of you, in spite of all this trickle-down feminism, I've always been good to you. So when you point out the time when I'm being unfair, and when you point out the times when I drop the ball as a feminist for all women, when you point out those specific instances where I failed as a feminist and looking out for other women that don't look like me, then that's something that I find offensive, and therefore I'm going to call you out and let you know that I've always been good to you. So there's no reason why you should ever attack me.
Right. And that's where it comes from. And that's where these white feminists are today. With every 2 seconds, they want to hurry up and say some smart shit and some slick shit, because they forget all the crudball shit they've been doing to us, period, and how their feminism has oftentimes been at our cost. They've been allowed to be the woman of the house while we've been the servant. At the same time saying, oh, our movement's helped you so much and we continue to have been your servant. So this has gone on, and this chick got her wig snatched, and a lot of us you know, it seeps over into different facets of life, where you go from, which are, you said, Patricia Arquette, and then this little dust stuff between Miley Cyrus and, not Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift and Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj brings up, you know, some issues about curvier women not being recognized, and that's why my video wasn't recognized, blah, blah, blah. And old Millie over here, Taylor Swift, had to say, oh, excuse me, why are you talking bad about women? It's supposed to be about all of us. Bitch, we wasn't talking about you. Can I have my moment to talk about my issues where women of color aren't recognized and our bodies aren't valued? Why you got to chime in and tell me what I can and cannot say? Why? Because you a Millie.
Ooh, yo, Millie ass, Millie.
Yo, old Millie ass.
This Rebecca Griffin wants us to know who we need to thank. It's like, bitch, you need to thank Sojourner Truth. Right. And Margaretta Fortin and Harriet Fortin Purvis. And you need to thank Ida B. Wells. These are women that were part of the suffrage movement, but we weren't really allowed to be a part of your group.
Mm-hmm. And then
when they had the when they had a parade or some shit, wasn't even allowed to march in the same damn parade. They had to be segregated. Some sort of national women's suffrage group or whatever. Black women weren't even allowed to be a part of the national group.
Because you know what? They weren't talking about us when they were saying women have the right to vote, because at that point, black men hadn't been given the right to vote. Blacks weren't considered equal at all. So you were never talking about us in your original movement. And we, black women, have been fighting since the fucking slave ship. So you want to talk about what you did for us when we were in your homes being whipped, raped, molested, beat. I don't remember a movement of women saying, we all women, we shouldn't do this to other women. No, that never fucking happened. And so when you want to conveniently say the things you've done for us, no, these are the things we've done for ourselves. And to me, it's racist in itself for white women to think at all they've done anything for us. What's her name? Was it Gloria Steinem? She famously said, I think this is who I'm saying her name right, but she famously said, I found everything I know about feminism about looking at black women. I learned about feminism from black women because they embodied that before they were, you know, the mainstream movement was. This is where I learned it from. So, you know, you got white girls like that who give us our freaking credit, but then you have the rest of them. I remember a few years back, there was I think this feminist icon, Annie DeFranco. She wanted to have a feminist retreat, but have it on a plantation. And black feminists who call themselves, had to tell her, we're not going. This is really fucked up. And you have to tell. But for you guys to that romance they have with the plantation days, the fact that they don't even see that, white women can't see that as wrong in any way, tells me why I don't belong in a movement like that. It does not work for me. It's not about me. It doesn't look at me and my blackness as, important. It doesn't value it. You don't see, I've seen here and there a little bit, but you don't see a mass movement of white women wanting to march for Sandra Bland. You don't. Where are they? Where are their voices in this? And when you say we're all women, we're all the same, and we're all riding and dying together, but when shit goes bad, you don't ever see you guys. You don't. But you guys are quick to say what you've done for us, and I'm still trying to figure out what a white woman has ever done for black people that we haven't done for ourselves way before you even began to look our way.
Well, Miss Millie's always been good.
Oh, to all people, I forgot.
Miss always been good to people.
Exactly.
Why would you attack me? Attack you? I'm sorry. Where are you being attacked? Calling you out is not an attack.
It's attack because we're the angry black women, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's what it is. And, that's from Sandra Bland is the same. She's the aggressive. Let's not forget about this Millie. What's her name? Hasselbeck said on Fox and Friends that she could have been aggressive because she had a cigarette. A black woman with a cigarette is attacking. A black woman, how dare we speak up for ourselves? We're attacking you guys, and you have a right to do whatever you want to our bodies because we're attacking y'all. And we better thank you for all the shit you done for us, because wouldn't we like to work and clean in y'all houses? You mother... Let me calm down. I thought we were going to end this on a happy note, and this is just making me more upset.
Miss Millie, you've always been so good. You let me wet nurse your babies.
Sure, I'll have 10 or 11 outside kids by your rapist-ass husband. You so good, Miss Millie. Oh, you so good to me.
Thank you so much, Miss Millie. I think at some point, they like to point out that, after women's suffrage, that the right to vote included all women, right? But then here comes Jim Crow. But yeah, we're not supposed to point out the black shit that kind of fucks up the whole women's thing for us. We aren't women first, though. For a white feminist to say that when you bring race into it, that it does a disservice to the feminist movement, or does a disservice to women. The problem is that we're black first, and then we're women. We can't get past the black thing to clean up we can't clean up the black shit in order to clean up the women's stuff.
Yeah, Sojourner Truth so eloquently spoke it all them many moons ago, but ain't I a woman? Why would she have to ask that question if it was already implied that I'm just like y'all? But ain't I a woman? But I'm not a woman when I'm out working and slaving and doing all that shit first, because I'm black first. You see my blackness first. That's why Renisha McBride can get shot in the dark, because she's black. No one saw that she was a woman. No one cared. A white man saw a black body and shot. But ain't she a woman? Don't you have some kind of sensibility towards women in this world? No, not when it comes to sister girls, because we're angry and aggressive, right?
That's right. Sandra Bland yanked out of her car over a cigarette. Could he have just asked her to come out? Did he have to manhandle her?
If she was white, I'm guaranteeing you there would have been a completely different way, even if she had an attitude. If she was white, saying and doing the same exact things, he would have looked at her differently.
But she was black first. That woman thing didn't even hardly play into it, but for the fact that she, as a woman, she probably shouldn't be talking to him that way, because he's a man. But still, the black part of her being a woman is what made things escalate. Yeah. I don't care what you say. You can say that bullshit about there ain't no racism if you want to. But what did President Obama say? That racism is not just about it not being polite to say nigga in public.
Yeah. Right. You know, it's so simple, but they got mad at him for saying it. You know, people had attitude because he said that. Can he say the N-word? And then you had white people policing that shit. Oh, he can't say it. The black president can't say N-word. But he's not saying it just to say it. He's telling y'all some shit that's the truth. It's, you know, just because you're not saying it in public don't mean, you know, that's not you not being racist. And that's the whole situation we're in, where they're tolerant towards us, so they think I'm not racist because I'm teaching tolerance to my children. It's just like they don't fucking get it. And, you know, they're so ignorant to getting what's going on that you have these situations where you have this feminist saying, well, black women don't understand. You don't even understand how condescending and just full of shit you're being, degrading you're being, when you tell black women who have suffered the most in this country. We've been enslaved, we've seen our kids sold, our men killed, we've been raped, brutalized. You have the nerve, the audacity to say we don't know what you guys have done for us, when half the time we suffer some shit under your ass, because of your ass. It's just, and for them to not, you know, white privilege to this day is so strong, like they don't see it. They still don't see it. No matter what. It's just like, this is as clear as bell, but they still don't see it. And you have these little tweets like, well, y'all don't know what we've done, or whatever the chick was at the Grammys. Well, yeah, now it's time for y'all to do something for us. The nerve. I mean, you got some fucking nerve. And that is why, and I'm not trying to change anybody's mind or whatever you want to call yourself. That's why I don't put that term feminist on me. If it wasn't the term wasn't developed with me in mind. And the movement hasn't developed with me in mind. The other day they were talking about fucking free to nipple again, and I'm like, this is what y'all are upset about today. I've got to find another black person dead by the hands of police. Y'all are talking about free to nipple. We're just on two different levels of what we're worried about here. So my discussion with you isn't going to be about freeing my fucking nipple. You know, it's finding out what happened to my sister. So forgive me if I can't rock with y'all right now.
Yeah, so a sister tweeted, Lord, be a Twitter block to save me from white feminism. To which he responded, Lord, be a universe block to save me from racist, quote-unquote, activists.
Wow.
So they don't even get to be feminists.
You see how quick y'all will get kicked out that feminist?
They got kicked out quickly.
You see how quick they kick your asses out of there too? That's why we gotta have our own shit. No, this is womanism. It's for me. You can't kick me out of it. It's for me. But no, y'all wanna be running up under the feminists and they gonna kick your ass out quick. She's not a feminist. She's a racist.
A racist. Now you're just an activist.
You're an activist now. Oh.
You are not a feminist.
Oh,
because
God.
you will not give all glory and honor to Miss Millie.
Miss damn Millie.
Miss Millie had your back. When we were marching hand in hand together, I walked through the door. I told you I'd let you in later. Hey, I let you get close to the window. Don't that account for something? You can look in and see what I'm doing. Isn't that nice? Before you couldn't even look in. But we're supposed to be. I thank you. What was that on? That was Raisin in the Sun. I thank you, and I thank you. I thank you.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
So, enter this situation with Nicki Minaj and Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have all the tweets in front of me. I can't. But Nicki Minaj basically said because her Anaconda video did not get nominated, which for the MTV Video Music Award Album of the Year, which to me, quite honestly, like I wasn't really impressed by Anaconda.
I wasn't either.
I wasn't impressed. But apparently it oppressed a lot of people because they're like doing parodies of it and memes, and it's getting. There's a lot of videos out there that I don't think is shit, but you know, they changed somebody's life. But to look at whatever this video was. It's an iconic video for the time that it was out there. And so I can understand her saying, what the hell? Like, I got how many views?
Yeah.
How many people are watching? How many people are making Halloween costumes and doing the dance moves and recreating this shit? And y'all ain't gonna give me my props?
That's true. And you know what else she did? Nikki was real mad because when in doubt, throw in Beyonce. And she even said, and y'all gonna pretend like Feeling Myself didn't happen. Like, how dare you not nominate the video with the Queen Bee? And if you ain't gonna love
the Beyonce card.
Yeah, she pulled the Beyonce card. You got to be mad when you pull the Beyonce card out. She said, fine, you don't like me shaking my ass with all these girls? I had Beyonce in my video. Top that.
Even though Beyonce got her nomination. But anyway. So when she says that, if what did he say? If I was a different kind of girl, then maybe I would have gotten a nomination.
Type of body type that got recognition. She said that, like I guess a certain type of body type gets recognition. And a Miss Millie out of somewhere turned over and said, is that about Miss Millie?
Are you throwing shade
at me, Miss? How dare you black women not see what I've done for you as Taylor Swift, a.k.a. Miss Millie.
Millie Swift. She says, Nikki, I ain't never said a bad word against you. How dare you pit women against women? I've always been good to you, Pete.
I would like you to work in my kitchen, Nikki. Why are you acting like
you can even come up on stage with me? That was the equivalent to working in my kitchen. You can come up on stage with me when I get my award.
Oh, God.
Didn't she, though? Oh, she is the quintessential Miss Millie.
Yes.
Oh, heifer. So yeah, she replied up out of the blue. Like, Nikki didn't mention her. Nikki didn't ask her. Nikki didn't say anything except for, if you got some skinny girls up there, maybe you'll get a nomination. It just so happened that Taylor Swift got some skinny chicks all in her video. But then again,
yes, bitch. I ain't gonna lie. Let me stop saying bitch though. I'm sorry, guys.
That's not very feminist.
I'm sorry. I'm not a feminist.
But okay, there you go. You get a pass. So, they kick your ass out anyway. I told you about the time I tried to join a feminist group and I didn't pass the entry exam.
I know, and if you could not pass, you know damn well I can't pass.
I didn't pass the entry exam for a Facebook group. Seriously. I didn't really want to participate. I was just going to watch anyway, but because I heard it was a crazy parade, so I just wanted to see crazy.
There usually is a crazy parade.
But anyway, Bruno Mars's video was nominated, which has his skinny chicks in it. The video called "Thinking Out Loud." I watched the video because I didn't know what song it was, but I remember it's some white dude, Ed Sheeran. Anyway, in the video is some dude dancing with this chick doing some sort of ballet / modern dance to his slow song, and it's the equivalent to watching some sort of performance on So You Think You Can Dance.
Oh, God.
How this video got a nomination? Like, okay, fine. At least with Taylor Swift's video, it was kind of funky and interesting. And Zendaya was in it. Like, I caught that. So, I mean, it was modern and catchy, whatever. This was just some boring-ass Parks and Rec ballet performance. Sorry. It was nothing. So how it got a nomination, but the woman in the video, she was very slender. Beyonce 7-Eleven is in there, but come on, it's Beyonce.
It's Beyonce, you have to.
Yeah. It was creative, like, and I guess anybody could have done. Well, actually, a lot of people parodied it, so yeah. I think it was deserving of that. But anyway, so Yeah, she didn't say you specifically, Taylor, so I don't even know why you jumped in it. As a matter of fact, you got your nomination. She didn't call you out. I didn't see why you felt the need to respond. You should let that shit ride.
Right. But she had to say something because, you know, the Millies, they don't like when us black women say anything out of turn.
Yes,
don't you dare speak out of turn with Miss Millie around. Because she got to let you know, how dare you.
Always been nice to you. So, Miss Millie, ain't everything about you though, boo-boo. So anyway, she says, I've always been good to you and blah, blah, blah. And why would you pit women against women? And, you know, maybe one of the men took your slot.
Ooh.
Like that stupid ass so you can think you can dance video.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite possible. But then Nikki's like, what? I can almost see her face when she read, like, what? Who was talking? Who called you? Who picked up the phone and texted you and said,
girl, get on there, Nikki tweeting.
Wait, she said this about you and your skinny chick video. Like, she's talking about you. You need to address this. She's like, I didn't say anything about you, but, you know, black women get slighted, and you should say something about it. Bam. Let's stop there for just 1 minute. That was a call to action. That was a white feminist being called out by a black woman concerning some black women shit.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point could have been the opportunity for Taylor Swift to put her feminism where her mouth is and actually speak on it.
Right.
Did she? No. What did she do? Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I didn't get the point.
Right.
My bad.
Mm-hmm. And that was it.
I'm thinking for a minute, and I posted this on my Facebook page, and I said, of course, she apologizes, because rather than actually, rather than actually being a feminist for all women and speaking on a disparity that's about women that don't look like her, but they're still women nonetheless. I mean, what happened to this whole equality thing, right? So if a black woman is saying this shit ain't equal, and you're saying, oh, it ain't? And do you get it or do you not? Because an apology at this point really says nothing to me except for, you know what, I'm going to be the martyr here, and yeah, I'm just going to be the bigger person, and I'm going to play the martyr and apologize. Like, did you learn anything, Taylor? If you learned anything from Nikki and all these other women who tweeted you in response to your dumbass foolery, then why aren't you saying what you've learned? Why don't you teach these other girls that look up to you as a role model feminist? Why don't you tell the class what the hell you learned? Yeah. Or did you learn anything? Which I don't think she did.
Well, of course she didn't. Miss Millie don't learn anything. Miss Millie is waiting for Nikki to get locked up, since that's what she's going to strike and say, you can be in my next video. Oh, it's okay. You can come on stage with me. You can be the opening act at my show. It's all about Millie. You know, because she doesn't get it. She didn't get it. She knew very well what she was doing. She knew what she was saying, but that it would have been if we're all intersectional, and that's what they call it, the feminism being black feminism and all this stuff and all these movements coming together, intersectional, and we meet up and we all ride for each other. That would have been the time to co-sign Nikki and do that. And she didn't.
No,
because they won't do it. They have not done it. Like I said, you haven't seen white feminists ride down the street for Sandra Bland. This is a woman ripped out of her car, falsely arrested, and possibly killed in jail. This is the time for white women to act, right? Feminists everywhere. Let's go crazy. Women shouldn't be treated like this. But crickets. But here, and the same thing with Miley. Okay, I got offended because a black woman brought up the truth about how black women are shaded in our industry, that you have to be a certain bottle size or this thin to make it. Shit, she could have brought up so many things in our music industry with music videos of black women having to be, to begin with, light, bright, or now thick, thin to be recognized as, you know, because people argue that about Beyonce all the time. She's, you know, blonde hair and thin in shape, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to see, you know, the Fantasias of the world with better voices, even though I love you, Beyonce. I don't mean it like that, you know, totally different things. But anyway, you know, you're not going to see the typical black woman applauded on these main stages. And that's what Nikki was bringing up. When you see women with certain body shapes, we're not celebrated. Our videos aren't said number one, but these stick thin figures are. There's something wrong with this. This would have been the time for, you know, for Miley to get, instead of tweeting,
she said Miley. Miley.
Miley. Because I'm sitting here looking at this damn YouTube thing. What's her name?
Taylor.
It would have been time for Millie, yes, Millie, to call Nikki and say, what's up? What was this about? And now we can join forces. That would have been the thing to do, wouldn't it have been? Wouldn't that be a cute thing for all girls at the MTV Awards to see? Taylor Swift and Nicki Minaj getting together. You know, coming on and say, see, we're going to talk about this issue of body type. Because, hell, it don't have to be a black-white thing. You could even say thick women getting ignored or a certain bodies not. You could have went so many different places with that. Instead, I'm going to wipe my hands of this thing. My bad. Moving on to my work.
And that's essentially what she did.
Yep.
And then Nikki's like, oh, we talked about it on the phone, and we're good now.
Mm-hmm.
Nikki.
That's where that money come in.
Hello, honey. You had an opportunity to really, I mean, like, because Taylor was like, oh, I thought I was being called out. It's like, no, the industry was being called out. You just took it personally. But now you're being called out when I said you should speak to it. Now you've been called out. But now, you know, Nikki was like, oh, she apologized, so we're good now. No. You'll make her accountable for this shit. She wants to be a feminist. She says she's a feminist and all women. She wants to rock the damn label, but she don't actually want to do the work.
Right.
She's using that to sell records. That's all. She ain't mainstream. She's the perfect mainstream white feminist, because there are white feminist allies who get it. They may not get it all the time. They may not have it right all the time. Those aren't your mainstream people. There's just not enough of them. They're out there. It's just not enough of them.
Yeah.
To really make a real a cohesive movement. It's just too many of the mainstream ones that are just battling us like at every step. Oh.
Yeah.
Y'all just... But we're not supposed to... I keep going back to that one tweet that fool said. What did she say? That when you bring race into it, that you damage the movement. But
because that's what they really believe, though. Like anything to skirt the issues of what black women are doing, because we're black women. We're always seen as black in society, period, in this world. And you don't want to be. I hate when people say they're colorblind and they don't see color. I want you to see my color. I'm very proud to be black. You know what I mean? I don't want you to see me as anything but what I am, a black woman. So for you to say I don't see that is kind of like ignoring it and ignoring the things that I go through in my daily life. And the fact that y'all don't want to see that is the problem. You don't want to see it. You're choosing not to see it.
Miss Millie Swift.
So the award, the Miss Millie award goes to
the Millies.
The Millies. Well, that's what we should have. We should have a Millies. The Millies this year goes to this week's Millie is awarded to Taylor Swift for her nose in the air superiority and complete ignorance towards anything real with black women issues. So here you are.
While claiming that she's always been supportive of Nikki, but not on this shit. I've always been supportive of you. Well, then why ain't you doing it now, bitch?
Yeah, and for real, supportive of her doing what? If she's saying she has an issue, isn't that what the definition of being supportive is? Is she tried to... Nikki, I don't know if she's ever said no deep shit before. I don't really know if I've ever heard her say anything too deep. I think I did see a video of her floating around about girls get your own money, can't depend on no man. Okay, good. But anyway, I've never seen her say no real deep shit, that being focused.
Say that all women should have an orgasm.
Oh, well, that is very important.
Fuck a dude that will not.
Okay, so maybe she has been saying some real shit. She didn't say eat the groceries. That was probably the most important thing said by a woman this year. I'm trying to make it light. We had such a heavy conversation. So we're going to end up giving the Millie to Taylor, and remembering the groceries was a very important step for all women. And
that's how you know she's getting tired, y'all. We also give the Millie to Rebecca Griffin, who apparently forgot that black women were part of the original feminist movement, and that basically white women just stepped all over black women's backs to get that leg up.
Yeah, so technically, you better remember us, because not for us, you would literally have nothing. So
now you just got a little bit more than nothing. Thanks, Millie.
Thank you, Millie.
So I guess that should wrap this up. In 9 days, because I'm assuming we'll probably do this, in 2 weeks?
Yep.
In 9 days, get your popcorn, get your tea. The GOP debate is coming up. And it's gonna be pure comedy.
Oh, I cannot wait. Yeah.
Now there's rumors about Donald Trump and Sarah Palin.
No, I would love that. Remember I said I wanted Sarah Palin and somebody else stupid, so Donald Trump and Sarah Palin would be great. Before we talk about stupid, though, I did want to mention, we're not going to talk about this at all, but big props to the president we call President Barack Hussein Obama. He went to Kenya, first sitting president to visit Kenya, and he's now, is he back or is he in Ethiopia right now? Anyway, he went to Africa, visit his homeland. How often do you see that? They've got Obama always on beat hashtag going around right now, because he got in Kenya and was doing some regular native homeland dancing, sitting with his grandma and his sister. So it was an awesome sight to see. We posted some pictures and everything on our Facebook page, so check it out. Big props to President Obama. Oh, and he also said, bringing up a GOP, that if I ran a third time, I probably would win again, which is true. Because if you got these motherfuckers, that Trump has been losing his damn mind for the last 3 weeks. So it is only going to get worse from here. So, yeah. I can't wait. I was telling somebody at my job that we've got to have some kind of drinking game for this debate. It's going to be epic. We're all going to be totally tore up, but we've got to do it because Trump is a fucking idiot, and this is just going to be the best thing ever to see.
That is going to, you know what? Now I'm sitting there thinking, it's like, should we record while we're watching this?
We got to. Let's record and do a drinking game, and then we'll never do podcasting again. People will be like, this is great. So, yeah. So, okay. Maybe
they fell asleep on the podcast.
They was talking crazy, and next thing you know, they fell out.
So, yeah. Shout out to our president, who's just been doing some real black shit, these last couple months.
Wale was at the White House. I mean, some people posted some pictures of him in his jeans, and President Obama just talking about his rapping skills, like he couldn't rap. Like, he is being what he wants to be. You can't, he's got his shit, and people hated on President Obama because, he wasn't super black. Yes, he was. He did all the shit he was supposed to do. If he wasn't successful, he would have been mocked, he wouldn't have won re-election, and he would have been the worst thing that happened to black people in history, because all they would do is bring up the failure of President Obama. No, he shitted on the White House. He did what only a black man could do. Okay, that sounds racist. I'm sorry, guys. But he saved the country from the depression, a recession. He ended the wars. He caught Osama bin Laden. He's got his health care bills passed. Now he's just doing his victory lap, and I love it. He's in Africa with his peeps. He got rappers in the White House.
And he's setting people free.
Oh, he set free a bunch. gave clemency to a bunch of people, some brothers. You know, when you said to free my homie such and such, he heard you. He done let people out. He's talking about prison reform now. And that fish fry is coming. I'm telling you. Please, we all going to be at the White House turning up at a fish fry thrown by the president. And white people across America are going to slit their damn wrists.
Oh, yeah. We about to do the wobble all over your ass. We'll be on the front lawn of the White House. Y'all going to be on the other side of the gate looking in and snapping pictures. And we're going to have that damn backdrop with the car.
Oh, Lord. Yes, I'm going to be
snapping pictures.
You know, when you get down on your knees and you do that pose.
Get them deuces.
You know it. We're going to be there at the cookout. It's going to be epic. So I'm telling you, I'm calling it big cookout at the White House. It's coming, y'all. It's coming.
And even if we can't get in on the other side of the gate, you think they'll let us, you think they'll let us do it across the street?
Get in there.
Do it across the street.
Yeah. Whoever wins when the election comes down, we should do a big barbecue any damn way. When they come out, you know how they do that ceremonial one giving the keys to this person, they're leaving. We should be waiting for him with a huge barbecue any damn way. He held it down. His family's been attacked, all kinds of names, disrespected.
Mm-hmm.
He did the damn thing despite everything. So no matter what, big props to him. We gonna have that fish fry one way or another.
I hate to say it, whoever's going in there next, they're gonna be so boring.
Oh, I know.
I mean, you going to see Bernie Sanders playing basketball?
No. Hey, look. If Bill gets back up in there, though, we going to have another Monica Lewinsky. And he's going to have more time to cheat because he ain't got shit to do.
He can't eat them French fries. He had that open heart surgery or something. He can't be eating them French fries like he used to.
He can't be eating
messing with them insurance either. Nope. But whoever's going to be in there, it's just going to be so dull and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm not pressed by Hillary. Like, I still need to see more from her, but I can't imagine that she would be as entertaining as well as effective as the president. I mean, the president's been both. There will never be another Barack Obama. I think he's one for the history books. This is a historic run. I think to have the first black person. When you're the first black person to do anything, you have to be great because everybody's watching you any damn way. And he set the standard so high. He's accomplished healthcare reform. That's something I think every previous president has been trying to accomplish. He did it. They took it to the Supreme Court. They fought him on everything, and he was able to outmaneuver, outsmart all these fucking Republicans. That's one hell of a feat. So there's not going to be anybody to do it as good as him, as big as him, any damn time soon. I would love to see a woman in the White House next. I'll just say that. And I know it can't just be any woman. A lot of people aren't feeling Hillary. I don't mind her. I don't have anything negative to say about Hillary, but I want it to be a woman. I don't want to go back to a Millie. I don't want to go back to a white man. I just can't. I don't want to do that either, but I don't want Millie in office either. Well, come on. Okay, any Hispanic and I mean, you got to be real Latino. I'm not talking about this white Hispanic thing that's been going around killing all the black people. No. I want a real Puerto Rican. I want a real... See, I'm tired. I'm tired now. But I want a real Puerto Rican. I want somebody from Bed-Stuy. I want somebody from I want Jenny from the Bronx. I want somebody, Pedro from Florida. I want a real Hispanic person. I want a real other minority. Because Bobby Jindal, if he had played his card right, but that motherfucker, they called him out on Twitter too. They got his ass. They said, your name is fucking Punja. Ninja. Punja. You going around calling yourself Bobby, trying to be with these white people. You ain't from no damn Brady Bunch. There ain't no damn tan. Talk about your name, Bobby. So we can't have him. Somebody's got to come out of somewhere. We need a dark horse. We need another. Do Barack, you got any cousins that you want to... You in Kenya now. Bring somebody back. God, you know he can't do that. Right, he barely got in. He was born in Hawaii with a white mama.
Girl, he was over there making birth certificate jokes. This is what I'm talking about. That's what happens when you know nobody do shit to you anymore.
Yeah, it's like you get on you like all your little birthday jokes.
Yeah, he is. I love it though.
So, yeah, we gotta do something with this debate coming up.
Yeah.
So we thank you so much for listening. Like I'm spent now. We gave you all of our contact information. Check out the show notes so you can see how you contact us on social media. The voicemail number again is 515-999-JTOL-999. What happened to Uncle Herman?
Oh Lord, maybe he. Never mind. Don't even start that.
Yeah, he was up there.
He might as well run it back. Look at Trump. If you got Trump, Herman might as well come back. He might as well.
Might as well. Ben Carson, he out there.
Oh, Ben Carson to put his crazy away because Trump been showing out. Come on, Ben. Step it up.
Yeah.
I forgot he was running.
Acting out. Last I heard, he had his rant about the selfie stick. You ain't got nothing better than that?
No.
The selfie stick platform is not going to win you.
Oh, God. I need to go to bed. I can't even.
Bernie Sanders marching with Dr. Martin Luther King 50 years ago is not a free pass to the presidential suite.
Bernie got to do a little bit more than that.
Do a little bit
People
more.
ain't trying to hear that shit. They've been shouting his ass down every 5 minutes. So
like I said, like, if you got receipts that shows he used to run with Malcolm X when he was like
in the struggle, like doing
like
that damn
really
thing.
in
That's
that
good
shit,
enough for me.
Then I might consider it. Like,
but you know what? You know Hillary is preventing all this shit by she's having. This is what I don't like about what Hillary's doing right now. She's having controlled media. She only letting her cousin and her people into the room when she is coming out. Hillary is riding around in a glass box where she is not getting to the public. No, she's limiting people coming in because Bernie done been fucking shouted down. I don't know how many times in the last couple of days. He's popping up all over the damn place. He's all old. I don't know.
Well, you know what Hillary's doing. Really, I'm about to call her Millie.
Call her Millie. Don't give her the Millie Award.
Hillary's sitting back waiting to see who messes up.
She is. That's all she has to do.
She can swoop in and be like, "Oi, Black Lives Matter." Like,
I've always said Black Lives Matter. My best friend is Hakeem.
What?
I love black people. Except for when Barack was running. She was real nasty.
Oh, she was real anti-black for them.
Yeah, but I don't know. Come on, y'all got to find us some other candidates. I really want a woman.
You know what? Let's consider our options and not allow the media to narrow it down to the 2 or 3 that they like to focus on.
Well, they the only ones that got a damn chance. The other ones can't. You know damn well the Green Party candidate from Nebraska ain't getting no airtime and nobody's voting for that.
And it's true, and that's what's messed up.
That's what it is. That's what the game is, though.
Well, then you know what? We need to be a little bit more responsible.
Look, I got a lot of stuff I got to protest this month. I ain't got time.
I ain't got time to be finding out about no
damn third-party electoral people. Look, get some.
Well, there's how many, like 30 or 40, what is it, like 20 people that are running on the Democratic ticket?
Yeah, you supposed to that, and I have like no idea what their names. Oh shit, I almost forgot Martin O'Malley was running. Damn.
Oh yeah, they booed him off the stage. Boo.
I don't know why everybody hates Martin. I don't know why people hate him so bad. Oh,
you know why they hate him so bad?
I still don't know why. I don't know.
He's mellow.
He's mellow. He's mellow.
I've always been good to you people. Hey, wait, guys. All lives matter. Oh, we talking about black ones now, nigga.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
They had to escort his ass off. They had the Sandman come out. Want to.
Yeah.
Okay, it's over. It's over. The show is officially over.
It is. When you bring out the Sandman, it's time to go to bed. I ain't fucking with you tonight. I gotta go.
We might have to start doing that for the rest of the damn for the next episodes that we do. We will end the show with the Sandman.
The Sandman needs to get on. Get on both our asses out of here. We crazy at this point. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much for listening, no matter what time of day it is, just download and listening to this show. We always say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, goodbye, and good night.